Take 47.
Are you recording now?
I am.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to episode 42.
We Watch TV, the podcast about TV we watch. I'm Daniel. She's Hope.
Why are you being like this?
You've beat it out of me. We've done like 5, 6, 7
We
takes
can't stop laughing.
of this episode, and every single
He
time.
just threatened to rank every single episode of every Star Trek show
I just want to give the people what they want.
in a future episode.
I just want to give the people what they want.
And then he's sitting there mumbling on about how it's episode 42 and it's the meaning of life. Which
I
is
am not the only person that gets that reference.
to the Hitchhiker. Do you like the book or the movie better? The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Well, now, technically speaking, there's a movie, but the book is a collection of short stories and blah, 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 blah. The movie was fine.
When
I
did
liked
the
the books
movie
better.
come out? Were we?
Oh, it was a long time ago.
Were we
It
in
was like,
college?
yeah, Alan Rickman was in it.
Snape?
Yeah. And,
Also Hans Gruber? Is that his name from Die Hard?
yeah.
Who did you see that with in college? I certainly didn't see that with you.
I have no idea. I might have went by myself. I used to go to movies by myself all the time.
Still eat Sour Jacks to movie salon?
If I could get them.
A Sour Jacks man?
Epic candy. Best ever.
Did
You
we
know-
already say what we're here for? That you
hey,
introduced us?
Welcome to We Watch TV, the podcast about TV that we watch. I am Daniel. She is Hope. This is episode 42. We are out of town, so we recorded this ahead of time for your listening. We wanted to make sure that we were still able to insert ourselves into your ear canals
on
a Tuesday, because it's really even probably you all would have been like totally fine with a break week. But
We
it's
are
us.
OCD.
It's us. We're the problem here. Is that
Hi, I'm the problem, it's me.
we can't see that gap in the week
Yes.
and be okay with it.
We need to have
We could have even
something.
put a supercut here, but the problem is
That's a Saturday supercut.
it's a Saturday show, and I don't put numbers on those episodes. So the only thing that was allowed to go
Touch
here,
of OCD.
well, the only thing that was allowed to go here was an episode with an actual number, which is what we are delivering somehow now.
Some way. And this is something that we've been wanting to do for a while. It's kind of a get to know us rapid fire. Some of these opinions you've probably already heard us talk about, at least me. Apparently I have an opinion on everything, some people say.
She does.
I don't have an opinion on every single thing.
You do.
Try to come up with something that I wouldn't have an opinion on, or that I do have an opinion. I don't know. I can't talk right now.
I
Like-
mean, I'm terrible off the cuff. But, like, I'm sure there's some controversy in the world, and if I gave you a 1-minute spiel on it, you would have an opinion on it.
Well, try me.
Non-stick pans versus stainless steel pans.
I would go with stainless steel pans.
Why?
Aren't nonstick pans like they have like chemicals?
So you
and
have an
stuff in
opinion
them?
on it.
Yes, I do. Just try to come up with something like I'm trying to think of something that I don't have an opinion on.
Exactly. That's the problem.
Because I have I like specific brands of things. I just like what I like.
Yeah, exactly.
don't-
It's called an opinion on everything.
Have an opinion on. I don't know what I'm talking. I just lost my brain.
Yeah, because you're trying to come up with something and you can't, because just like I can't. Because
You have an opinion on a lot of things too.
But not everything.
Sparkle paper towels or Brawny.
I don't really care.
That's interesting because you called the sparkle ones that we had to get during the pandemic utter crap.
Well, they were not good.
And you said you would never buy them again.
Well, I don't buy Brawny either. That's
What kind do we buy?
Bounty.
Bounty. I don't know
This
why
is
I
a
thought.
Bounty household.
Brawny is like the flannel. I'm surprised you don't stick with your flannel brethren.
Well, he
the
needs to make
Brawny.
better paper towels.
And then the toilet paper,
I don't care
We
about
like-
toilet paper as long as it's not one ply.
like the kind at the Disney theme parks now
Yeah.
that's like disintegrates in your hand. What'd you call it?
Actually, you know what?
2-ply?
Yeah, I'm bidet curious. I want to try one. I just want to know what it's like.
I feel like that should be the name of this episode. Bidet
Yep,
curious.
I think we got it. I'm going to write that down. I don't know how to spell bidet. I'll figure it out later.
Okay.
It's French. There's some letter in there that they're not pronouncing.
Who's better, LeBron or Jordan?
Jordan. But see, these are all things that everybody has opinions on.
I used to claim that I didn't until I saw that miniseries, and I was like, people actually compare LeBron to Jordan. Is it just like Ohio people that are like, even though LeBron like betrayed the state
I mean,
when he took his talents
listen, I
away?
was born in the state of Ohio, and I can attest that Ohio people are a problem.
Hi, everybody from Ohio. We have a lot of people that listen to us
They
in
know.
Ohio.
They know. They know. They know there's a problem. Do we have a goal with this episode, or we were just going
Yes,
to do
we
this
do have a
for,
goal with
like,
this episode.
an hour
I
or
think
something?
I already said we're going to do some rapid fire questions about some mainly TV shows, a little movies, and the whole reason why we're talking about opinions. I said some people probably have already
You know
heard
what opinions are like?
our opinions. Everybody, they're like,
They're like buttholes. Everybody has one.
Yes.
See, that's the clean version. You thought I was going to go the other way, but I didn't.
shouldn't. All right, so let's go. And it's going to be very little explanation, but we can ask each other one question as long as it's not why.
It's got to be a pointed question. It can't just be why is that your opinion? And I also want to point out this was supposed to be like you gave me this list like yesterday. I didn't look at it.
Well, rapid fire
and
questioning.
I'm terrible at rapid fire.
That's what makes it all the more fun.
Oh, I'm stressed out about this.
You're the one that's like, let's record it now while we're in a zany mood. All right, favorite TV show of all time, go.
Oh, you got me drinking a drink.
Ginger ale.
This is a really hard question. And I also
5.
kind of know what I think your opinions are on these things, and I don't want us to have the same opinion, but I'm just going to go ahead and go, it's Mad Men for me.
Why do you steal all my answers?
I didn't steal it. We agree on this one.
Okay, so for me, it comes down to 2. And it's really hard for me to think because and I know I'm
5,
not supposed to give explanations.
4.
All right, it's Mad Men for me too.
If I'm not allowed to give an explanation, you're not either.
Okay, why did you pick Mad Men? Oh, I can't say why. I'm just violating the rules already. What is it about Mad Men that you would say makes it your favorite TV show of all time?
I think that it is this perfect storm show of writing and acting that all come together in the most beautiful way possible. I think that the story they're telling about Don Draper, who is interesting. He's an interesting character. He's not necessarily a likable character.
No.
But he is the protagonist of the show.
Very
and you're seeing,
dynamic
and you're seeing
character.
things through his point of view. And the pretentious part of me is like, well, it's not something everybody would get, but that's not really it. I just think that it's really thoughtful, and I think
Very well written.
we've been wanting to do a rewatch of it for a while, and I would love to do that because I do think that there's so many layers to that show that each time you watch it, you're going to uncover something a little bit different, a different nuance that maybe wasn't there before.
Yeah, I agree. Do you have any
See, I pulled that out of my
questions for
butt.
me? Do you have any questions for me about why? I guess we can't ask why again about Mad Men.
No.
All right, favorite comedy. Go.
Well, see, okay. Now I'm looking at the list here. You got favorite comedy, and you got favorite sitcom.
They can be
Can you at
different.
least explain to me the difference in your?
Okay.
Where are you drawing the line here? Does it have to be
consider-
a?
now this isn't my answer for favorite comedy. So a favorite comedy could actually be a sitcom, but I don't consider Schitt's Creek necessarily a sitcom. I don't even consider New Girl a traditional sitcom. When I think of sitcoms, I think of Everybody Loves Raymond, The Middle. I do think of Frasier and Friends definitely can fit that vibe. So that's why I have it as different questions. What does Ross say? Don't attack the questions. So favorite comedy, go.
Gosh, this is really hard. I didn't think about this one at all. I have nothing written down on my list that you made me stop doing 5 minutes ago. New Girl.
New Girl.
New Girl.
All right. Favorite comedy for me, I'm going to have to go with Frasier.
The big
Which
surprise.
almost was my favorite TV show of all time.
The new one? That's my pointed question.
No, the original Frasier.
Okay. I gotcha. Do I get to ask a question at some point?
I guess. Do you have the list present?
It's right here on my phone.
Okay.
At least the version you texted to me
All right. I added
that I
some questions.
screenshotted.
Okay.
Is anybody else's photo library on their phone 50% screenshots of web pages and text messages? Or am I just wildly out of step with the rest of society?
At least you have screenshots for reference, because what I don't understand is when somebody texts me an actual photo.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
and it's
No,
like
I don't
a
do that.
Screenshot. I don't. Boomers of the world. Why do y'all do that?
I'm
It's
not
always
I'm not
boomers
a
or like older
psychopath.
Xers. Have you noticed that? It'll be like a normal picture, and I'm like, you realize you can just like text me the photo. Anyway, you said you were going to ask a question. Right now,
All
you're
right.
shaking
All
your
right.
foot so much.
You're
Gonna delete
favorite sitcom. You just said Frasier was your favorite comedy, and you just got done lambasting
My
me
favorite
for asking the
sitcom
question.
is The Middle.
Okay. My favorite sitcom is Frasier.
Why is it? I can't not ask why.
What about The Middle puts it as your favorite sitcom over Frasier?
It feels more like a sitcom to me. With the family
This is such a
dynamics,
stupid
the
category.
shenanigans, whereas Frasier's more written for that comedic value, and that's how I separate betwixt the two.
But Frasier is a comedy and a sitcom. So wouldn't
Then
it
you
just...
could say New Girl is a comedy and a sitcom.
New Girl's not a sitcom.
You could make the argument that it could be
It's
sitcom-y.
not because for me a sitcom is filmed in front of a live studio audience or pretending to be filmed in front of a live studio audience. That's a sitcom.
The Middle filmed in front of a...
No.
No, well, you know what? You're wrong, simply. So, next, ask the next question.
What is your favorite reality television
You
show?
just skipped favorite drama.
Oh, I don't like that one, so we'll go back to it. We'll go back to
What
it.
is my favorite reality TV show ever?
Yeah.
We had this discussion before we decided to record what counts as a reality TV show. If Dancing with the Stars used to be more in that reality vibe, I'm not supposed to give explanation, but I'm going to anyway. So we're just going to call that more of a competition show. So reality TV show, I'm going to take y'all back in the day. Where are my Bug Juice fans at? Bug Juice, the true life adventures of real kids having fun on Bug Juice.
I didn't even know that was a reality show.
It is, and it was one of the best of all time. It made me
So,
want to go.
I'm confused.
I wanted my parents to send me to Camp Waziata.
I'm confused because in the conversation we had off of recording about Dancing with the Stars, I'm confused where your stance is. So is that a reality show in your mind?
I'm going to call it not. It's more of a competition show.
Well, we don't have that on the list of favorite things.
Well, I probably added it on the list, and I didn't send you the new one. What is your favorite reality TV show?
I don't like reality TV.
You have to pick.
Special Forces.
I would consider that because even though it's competition, you do get to see kind of some of that drama like behind the scenes, which is more like reality. See, Dancing with the Stars used to have more of a reality TV vibe because they used to actually show them in rehearsal. They had confessional, but they don't do that anymore.
Nobody remembers that.
The OGs remember. The North remembers.
What's your favorite drama?
My favorite drama. So I cannot say Mad Men since I already said that for my favorite TV show of all
Is
time.
that the rules? We
That's
can't say the
rules.
same thing?
That's the rules then. So if it's not
I'm
Mad
going.
Men,
This is really like I have not been fully explained to the rules. It is really, really driving me crazy.
It's like cups. Like we're making it up as we go. My favorite drama would be if it is not Mad Men. Ooh man, because Scrubs doesn't count as. Can Scrubs count as a drama? Because it was dramatic, even though it was funny. I'll allow it because it's my game.
Oh, it's certainly not a sitcom because there's no live audience.
Oh my gosh. I think Scrubs is kind of that dramedy line.
Yeah.
And if I don't count the last season, and since I can't count Mad Men, since it's my favorite TV show of all time, I'm going to go with Scrubs. What about you?
This game is annoying to me. I don't like ranking things. I don't like picking my favorite things. I don't like being nailed down in this way.
Well,
it's quite annoying to me in every sense of my sensibilities are offended by this format. Scrubs.
you just
I'm not copying off you. Scrubs is an all-time excellent show.
It is. That episode with Brendan Fraser.
Oh man, heartbreaking.
Wow.
That yes. And anybody out there who inevitably wants to bring up that last season of Scrubs, that didn't exist. It's a wazy woozy.
It's fairy dust.
It's fairy dust. It didn't happen.
Favorite teen era drama. Are you answering this? Are we answering this as
These are your questions.
Are we answering this when we were teens or what we think of now?
Well, I didn't watch any teen dramas when I was a teen, so it's going to be really hard for me to answer that question.
You didn't watch any teen dramas when you were a teen. What were you doing? Just watching Star Trek?
I was probably as a teenager playing video games.
Going to the Home Depot and making fake lightsabers.
I didn't
that
go
we
to the
still
Home
have
Depot.
In this house.
I went to the Do It Center.
And well, I went with
And
you
yes,
to
I still have
Lowe's
them.
one
In fact,
time.
when I'm in my meetings at work, I pick them up and twirl them around as I'm listening to other people talk because I can't sit still.
Okay, favorite teen era drama. I am going to go with. Originally, when we were talking about this, I told you I thought I was going to go with Gilmore Girls, but I don't really still think that counts as a teen era, even though it was for that time. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with One Tree Hill.
So can I not pick Gilmore Girls?
No.
Then? It's why is it not a teen drama? The main characters of the show are teenagers.
Lorelai
And it's a
is
drama.
like 30. She's not a teenager.
Well, Sandy Cohen's in his 40s, but OC is a teen drama.
He's not like the main character.
Yes, he is. He is billed first in the credits,
This is
and
unhinged.
and Kirsten
All
is
right, fine.
second.
If we can count, then I'm going to give 2 answers for that one because they're my questions. One Tree Hill when I was a teen, and looking back, Gilmore Girls now.
Gilmore Girls, and I don't need a second one.
What about Gilmore Girls do you like? What is your favorite aspect of that show?
I'm not trying to be incendiary in any way, but for some reason the way they talk on that show is the way you talk, like just fast, and it's like a comfort.
That's actually really nice.
Is it?
Aw.
Because I was worried you were going to take that as me telling
I
you
do
you talk too
fast.
much
My
and you're a
therapist said
loudmouth.
I talk fast. On that note,
Okay.
favorite cartoon show as a kid?
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Turtle Power.
Michelangelo
It's not even,
is
like,
a party dude.
There's not even another, nothing's even close.
Yeah.
I have them on DVD downstairs. What about you?
I don't really want to keep copying each other's answers, but it would probably be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for me, with a very close second of we're tiny, we're toony, we're all a little loony.
Tiny Toons
And
was
in
good.
this cartoony, we're invading your TV.
That was a good one. That was a really
that
good
was a
one.
bop.
Yeah.
So be between those two. It's hard for me to narrow down things too.
Favorite cartoon show now? And we already had this discussion. What does this mean?
Like
What does now
cartoon
mean?
show-
So is it have to be on currently, or is it just now that you're an adult, what's your favorite cartoon show? Do you watch cartoons?
I watch like cartoon movies, like Disney movies, but I guess that's
That's
not really like
that's a show. It's not a show. You wrote the questions and you can't even explain to me what they mean.
For me, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of cartoons now, so I don't know. You go first.
I could help you out with that. Now I know a lot of the listeners here are going to say
Lower Decks.
Lower Decks. They're going to say, of course, it's got to be Lower Decks. And
I mean, I like
I have
Family
to
Guy.
admit that I do really love Lower Decks, and they make fun of Star Trek quite often. But I still cling to Rick and Morty. I still like Rick and Morty quite a lot. I think that's a really good one. I haven't seen the newest season that's actually airing right now because I usually wait until they're all out and just get them on Blu-ray and binge them that way. But that's my favorite currently airing cartoon show, which is how I interpreted these vaguely
Ooh, I'm
written
gonna go
questions.
with Bluey.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
Marvin
you have
likes that
watched like 2.5 episodes
I've
of
watched
Bluey.
like 3, and it's super cute, and I like to continue going.
Okay.
I think I'd probably like Lower Decks though, from what I've seen.
Yeah, I think you would.
Might
The
wanna
only thing with
give it a
Lower
go.
Decks that would be tough for you is that you would miss some of the references because you haven't watched all the Star Trek I have, but I think you'd still like it.
All right, what was your favorite TV show as a kid?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I can't say Ninja Turtles, right?
You already told me your answer to this earlier.
I did?
Mm-hmm. Because I was like, you watched that when you were a kid?
What did I say?
You said The X-Files.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to go with that one.
And I'm going to go with Full House.
The X-Files was great.
So was Full House. Have
Not as good as
mercy.
the X-Files.
You got it, dude.
I want to believe.
How rude.
The Mothman was mentioned on the X-Files.
Uncle Jesse and the Rippers had a hit single called Forever on Full House.
Gillian Anderson was on the X-Files.
Is it Gillian or
Jillian?
Jillian?
I don't know. Her name starts with a G.
I think it's Jillian.
But why would it be with a G then?
I don't know. Why is
The
it
English
Gif or
language is
Jeff?
terrible.
Is it Gif or Jeff?
It's GIF.
It's Gif.
Not even a question. And it starts, what letters does it start with?
It starts with a G.
So it's GIF.
It's not Gillian. It's not Gilligan's
Whatever.
Island. Okay.
Where are we at on this list?
Favorite TV couple?
Oh, Spock and Kirk.
Okay, romantic couple.
Spock and Kirk.
No, you have to go with. Okay, that I'll let slide. But romantic couple, as in a couple that were either betrothed or ended up together on a show.
House and Wilson.
A romantic couple.
JD and what's his face from Scrubs?
Elliot, that she was a woman.
No. JD and Turk. Yeah.
Okay. People that were together romantically.
What's yours?
Monica and Chandler.
That's a good one. I don't know. Gosh.
Please provide me. I'm surprised you're not saying Niles and Daphne.
That's a good one.
April and Andy. Leslie and Ben.
Midge and her agent from Mrs. Maisel. It just says couple. It doesn't say romantic in the
Okay,
question.
romantic couple, go.
I hate this question so much.
Go.
If I say Worf and Counselor Troy, you'll just kill me, right?
Okay, nobody, even the actors don't even think that. You're just doing that to get under my skin. Will you please answer the question?
I'm really bad with these questions, so
You agree that Monica and Chandler. Don't put your mouth on the mic.
I always have my mouth on the mic. That's why we have separate mics and we don't like cross-pollinate.
Oh my gosh. Go. You have to cut so much of this episode out.
It's fine. It's totally fine. I got to go with Monica and Chandler as well. Actually,
Such a
I do
copycat.
think that is a really good one.
Monica and Chandler over Niles and Daphne. Why would you say that? Like, what's the tipping point?
I'm going to play a reverse Uno card and ask you that question back.
So do I get? Do you get to answer it? Or
No.
I just feel
You
like
get later on. You get another reverse Uno card. so you
Niles
can
and
play it on
Daphne
me.
were very fun to watch that romance over time, and then what they were like as a couple, and to the point where Niles finally didn't. I like the storyline of where he had to realize he can't just idolize Daphne. Like he eventually did fall in love with the real Daphne as well, and that was very beautifully done. I didn't love it that they got together on her wedding night. I thought that was kind of, the whole Donnie and Mel thing of it all. I would have rather them not done that, but I get it. It's for TV. But Monica and Chandler, they just work. They fit. They have that whole like friends first thing, and they just, I think they were like a perfect, like even though Ross and Rachel are what you think of when you think of Friends, Monica and Chandler just, they fit. They work.
They fit together better.
They're great together.
They're great. They're better
Yeah.
together than Ross and Rachel.
Yes, agreed.
At least the version of Ross and Rachel we ever got to see on screen. Obviously, we don't know how things worked
But
out.
Ross and Rachel were, while they were on a break, they were not broken up. And Ross shouldn't have done what he did.
I agree Ross shouldn't have done what he did, but they were on a break. What's your favorite movie?
What do you think it is?
I know what it is.
My favorite movie, and I like movies that...
I answered about half of these questions for you
yes,
when we were talking about
because,
this pre-show.
again, I always make my opinions known, and you just...
Because you have an opinion on everything, and you make sure everybody
And
knows
you
it.
also don't rank anything. You're like, I don't know. Star Trek is life. Woo. My favorite movie is going to be The Hangover. Is it an Academy Award-winning movie? No. Does it make me laugh every time I watch it? Yes. And that's what I'm looking for when it comes to a movie.
I just want to say, for the record, if you had given me proper prep time and the challenge, I could have answered all of these questions with an episode of Star Trek. Including my favorite Star Wars character, because there's got to be somebody that was been in both. I don't know who it is, but they've got to be.
Favorite Star Wars character is Luke. So your favorite movie is Jurassic Park.
Yes,
I already know
correct.
this.
I will take no questions.
Do you? Sorry, you're gonna get some. How do you feel about these sequels?
They're terrible.
What about
All of
the reboots with Chris Pratt?
Also terrible. Not reboots. They are actually sequels.
Sequels. Okay.
They're all trash.
How wild is it that Ellie was like 20s in the first one.
Yeah, they definitely deviated from the books there to try and give a little bit of a romantic.
Yeah, well, I think she's
cue.
young in the books
But
too.
yeah, she is, but there wasn't that romance there in the books either.
But this just is an example of how clothing and hairstyles aged women in the 90s, because I always thought she was like way older and closer to Sam. Is that his name?
Sam Neill, yeah.
I always thought that she was closer to his like age, and that's not the case. Jurassic Park, good soundtrack.
Jurassic Park's got a great soundtrack. Jurassic Park, watch it now. It holds up. Like graphics and like everything, it holds up really well.
And then go watch The Hangover to be like, did the real Caesar live here? Not at the table, Carlos.
The Hangover is good, but it's just no Jurassic Park.
It's fine.
She does want to fight tonight.
Favorite genre of movie?
I don't think anybody would be surprised in any way to know that I'm a science fiction fan.
Yeah. Do you consider Star Wars science fiction or fantasy? More, or kind of towing that line of both?
It's both, but it's more, I mean, it is both because it's got kind of that mythological side to it with the Force, but ultimately at the end of the day, it is science fiction.
Really?
They're in space, they're flying spaceships around.
Lord of the Rings would be fantasy, though.
Lord of the Rings is fantasy, yes.
You really like
Lord of the Rings is literally the definition of the fantasy genre.
Yeah, the reason kind of wrote the blueprint for that.
The reason the fantasy genre exists is because of Lord of the Rings.
I started something. My favorite genre of movie is comedy. Ultimately, I just want to laugh. I can't. Earlier, Daniel was like, "What is it? Drama?" I'm like, "How often do I have to like get myself like in the proper headspace to even sit down and pay attention to a drama?" Not saying that they're not good, really good movies, but I just like to.
You don't want to just sit down and relax.
I want to be in a good mood when I watch a movie.
You don't want to just sit down and relax and watch Schindler's List.
No. Do you like some Hallmark movies? Can that be a genre? Hallmark Christmas movies?
Oh, I believe they are a genre unto themselves, forcefully. Not necessarily.
That would be up there. All right. Favorite TV character in general. It doesn't have to be from your favorite TV show. It could even be from a show that you don't like, but you like this particular character. Your favorite TV character in general.
This is a tough one for me. And a lot of people, you included, would probably say, oh, you're going to pick James T. Kirk, right? But no. And the reason is because, really, honestly, the biggest gap in my Star Trek watching is the original series.
Yes.
Most of, like, when it comes to me and my interaction with the original trilogy or with the original show characters, it's more the movies than the show. I've seen some episodes of the show. I've gone back and watched the popular
question,
ones.
Though.
I'm stalling as my brain comes up with an answer to it because I don't know. I just don't think about characters in this way.
I have two.
You have two? Let me hear them so I can see if I want to steal one.
Well, first, I have Winston Bishop from New Girl.
Oh, that's right. You told me
Winnie
that
the Bish. And then, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't say Chandler Bing from Friends.
Again, coming from your favorite comedy ones.
Both of those characters are great and funny, and I just enjoy seeing them on my screen. Phil Dunphy would probably be a close third for me, too.
Ooh,
from Modern
Phil Dunphy's
Family.
a good one. Yeah, he's a good one. I like Jay as well. I like the growth that you see. Phil is always a good guy.
Yeah.
And he's a good guy from the beginning to the end. But Jay, you see that growth in the character. I'm still stalling, by the way. I have no idea what to answer this question with. It's not Fizbo. I cannot believe that Hulu has a section for the Fizbo episodes.
Of Modern Family.
Are people like, do people actually go seeking those episodes
just like
out?
Cam.
I can't stand those episodes. I cannot stand them.
All right. Time's a ticking, Daniel. Favorite TV character?
It's so hard to just pick out like one character out of this
vast universe
of characters. I'm going with Lieutenant Commander Data. From Star Trek: The Next Generation.
But that's not your favorite Star Trek character. I guess the rules of the game say that we can do different things.
What do you mean? Yeah, but I explained why James T. Kirk is not my answer here.
Okay.
Even though we're not supposed to give explanation, I gave explanation, and yet you still didn't listen and pay attention.
I listened and paid attention.
Mm-hmm. I don't like this show.
The show?
Yeah, this episode.
You want to ask some questions?
It annoys me.
Speaking of.
Where are we at?
Speaking of annoying, who is the most annoying TV show character, in your opinion?
I don't have that on my list.
Of all the shows. Yes, I said I added some stuff to the list.
Oh, this
Go.
man, I know there's a hot take question later,
Mm-hmm.
and I just realized this answer could have been my hot take answer.
Oh, let us know. Who is it?
Sheldon from Big Bang Theory.
Like Sheldon Cooper.
Sheldon Cooper. He's annoying.
All right. Guess who mine is?
I don't know.
Ted Mosby from How I Met Your
Oh,
Mother.
I should have been able to slam dunk that one from the
Boom.
from the upper deck.
What TV character would you marry if I didn't exist and TV characters were real?
There's a lot to consider here, like personality, other more physical features.
Okay.
I'm trying not to say Sandy Cohen for anybody that's been listening to our OC rewatch. TV show or movies?
TV show.
It's just limited to TV shows.
TV shows.
TV shows. Let's see. Counselor Troy. She could put me to sleep at night. She could tell me a story and I just would zonk out.
Not Lilith.
No. And you know how valuable sleep is these days. The older you get, the harder it is to go to sleep. And I'm like, she could just help me go to sleep. Among other things.
It's a hard question for me as well. Daniel. I don't know. Sandy Cohen is great.
You asked the question. You sit there and grill me about it and make me answer. And now you're like, oh, I don't know what to. I don't have an
I think
answer.
Sandy Cohen's great. So he's just like the perfect guy, perfect husband. He really only had that one little minor slip up. I also really like Phil, but I wouldn't be a fan of how Phil's always checking out Gloria, though. I'd probably pop him for that. I'm going to have to go with, oh gosh, this is a hard question. This is a hard question.
You asked it.
I know. Man.
Gosh, I'm not looking forward to editing this one.
Man. I think I am going to go with Sandy Cohen.
That's a good answer. You stole it from me. So.
All right. Who did Rory Gilmore belong with?
Jess.
Jess. Yes, agreed. Who was Rory's? I'm gonna piggyback onto this. Who was Rory's worst romance?
Dean.
I would go with Dean, or the one that almost was but wasn't, that Marty from, remember? And he was like one felt like he was entitled to a relationship with Rory, her friend from college. Do you remember him, Marty?
I don't remember Marty.
He was the guy.
You say Marty, and immediately, for some reason, the guy that nobody knew his name from Christmas with the Cranks comes up. Marty. Everybody knows Marty.
Marty's Santa Claus in Christmas with the Cranks.
I don't remember Marty from the Gilmore Girls.
He was like the naked guy that Rory found that time in the doors, but then
you
they
should have said the naked guy. Okay.
And then they became friends, but then he got weird because he felt like just because he was a nice guy that he was like entitled to a relationship with her. But I wouldn't count that as an actual thing. But he was very cringe
to me. It's a question of the three. Jess,
Dean is clearly the worst.
Or the weird. Is it Nate? What's the other guy? The third guy.
Logan.
Logan. I don't know where I came up with Nate.
I don't know where he came up with Nate either.
It's the question between those three. Dean's the worst.
Yeah, Dean's the worst for sure. For sure. All right, who is your favorite friend of the friends?
Chandler,
which I already answered that. Since I had said that Chandler was one of my favorite TV show characters, do I get like a second choice?
You have to, because you can't have the same one. So your favorite friend can't be Chandler because you already put Chandler as one of your favorite characters on
Monica.
TV. Okay, so you like Monica better than Chandler?
No,
it's on the record.
I almost want to just stop recording. This is unhinged. All right, what was a show that was really good, started off strong, but fell off and ended poorly? Could have been a contender.
There's a lot.
There is a lot.
There's a lot here. I think that last part you said could have been a contender. Narrows it down a lot for me. Mm-hmm. And as much as I was disappointed in certain shows and how they went, the King of Kings is Game of Thrones. In my mind.
It was really only like the last season,
right.
Though. It took like a nosedive.
It took a nosedive. But that nosedive has left that show, like, I just have, like, even the new show, the House of Dragons show that they did, I couldn't get into it. I was just fatigued from it all.
One of my questions for you is it because, see, I think the way they ended things, like a lot of people were upset that Daenerys went insane. I think she was always going to go insane. She said, I'll take
That's
what's
not
mine with
what
fire
upset
and
me.
blood. I know, I'm getting there. And that's what a lot of people were mad about. I think it was the execution. Suddenly they were traveling like they did on Supernatural.
Thank you.
And it was like they had been planting the seeds organically for Daenerys to have that breakdown, and it was like they just suddenly 0 to 60. That guy over there,
Look at that sucker over there.
Yeah, and so that would be what I would say. Game of Thrones, the execution of it, it was just.
So is Game of Thrones your answer to this question?
No, but
Okay.
that would be what I would.
So you're
like,
answering the question for me. Did you ask me a pointed question?
I was giving explanations as to why I think. Because
Okay.
Game of Thrones would be up there.
On my turn to answer the question, you're giving explanations for why you're supporting my. Thank you for the support in my answer.
Well, it started off, you're making me forget what I was saying. It started off because I was saying yours isn't what everybody else complains about. Most people that complain about Game of Thrones ending were mad at Daenerys.
If you didn't
because
see
they
that
didn't
coming,
want her to go crazy.
if you didn't see that coming, I don't know what show you were watching.
Yeah, and that's what most people, and that's why I guess I was saying, I know this isn't what you clarify this, and then I just clarified it for you because
I mean, I'll be honest with you, and you already mentioned it a little bit, and I know some people are going to roll their eyes at me and say you're being an idiot. How they were able to travel around so quickly all of a sudden there at the end bothers me way more than a lot of the other things they did.
But then wouldn't it be like why do you think the last season was so bad? Like, why did it fall off so much?
The writing was not there.
That big battle, like, and all of a sudden, like, Arya's just okay, it's over.
they
like the existential crisis.
The existential crisis, that should have been the final battle.
Yes.
I think I know where they were going. I think because I believe that George Martin probably did give them some insight. I'm not going to say he gave them everything, and I'm starting to wonder how much of it he might change after seeing the reaction. But we go back to the Lord of the Rings and being the foundation for all fantasy.
Yeah.
And I've seen an interview with him where he talks about how, the Lord of the Rings book, they didn't do this in the movie. There was some action that took place after the primary climax in the Shire where the hobbits had to kind of fight off some orcs and take back the Shire. And I kind of think that he maybe explained a little bit of that to the writers of the show, and they took it in this weird direction where they made going to King's Landing and defeating Cersei suddenly the biggest thing that could happen in the entire show, and they missed the plot. The whole point of the show,
Starbucks cup in
the whole point of the show from the very beginning was the White Walkers. That should have been the ending.
Dread. Well, all these people were fighting over politics and stuff. Yeah, that was like.
And
the
instead,
overarching.
midway through the season, they have that battle and it's over.
I think you noticed the shift with Game of Thrones the moment they stopped following those books.
Yeah, because
which was not the last season. That was getting.
Let's be fair, Hope. You said that it was fall off a cliff. Season 7 was also not as good as previous seasons. For sure. It was already in decline, but then they just jumped off it with season 8.
I think that they knew how much everybody liked Arya Stark, and they really were like, we want her to be the one that like stabs the Night King because that's what we know the fans want.
Nothing in the lore of the show had ever indicated that was the case.
Now with like Jon Snow like rejecting things at the end, I never thought that like he wanted.
Yeah, his ending totally made sense.
Your issue, and then obviously mine apparently too, with it is not the same as what most people, when I would peruse the internet, that were upset with the ending of that show, were upset about the specific plot points of Daenerys, Jon Snow.
That was always going to happen.
Yeah, it's
that's
just the
going
way
to happen
it
in
happened.
The books.
The execution was bad.
Yeah, and that's going to happen in the books too.
No, that is not my answer though for what show.
Well, what is your answer?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's also.
I thought Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started off strong. We even had Samuel L. Jackson. In the first couple episodes, they were much more tied to the movies. And then the moment Coulson became like Robo Coulson or whatever, however they did that, it was just, what are you doing? And then it wasn't hitting. Whereas those first couple seasons, so good. And I think it could have had so much promise. And I really liked the team aspect of it. it just fell off. Like there's no other way for me to describe it. It just fell off.
Honorable mention to Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, but Battlestar Galactica was really only good the first couple seasons. The moment they were in New Caprica, it was crap. Let's call it what it is.
I still liked it then.
It was weird, but the mini series or the mini movie they did in the first season had two of the greatest finales ever.
Yeah.
Of a show.
With some great TV.
All right. Are you going to ask more questions? Or are you lost track?
Do I have a list that works?
Yes.
All right. So what is your favorite TV show finale?
You just skipped a question.
What's your favorite TV show theme song?
The Golden Girls. What is yours?
I know we just got done talking about this. It's Game of Thrones.
That was a very close second for me because that theme song is such a banger.
Well, it's the theme song. They're always showing.
They're
They're showing the areas that they're going to be visiting in the episode, so it's never the same thing every episode.
Oh, you like maps.
I love maps. I love a good map.
It's a great theme song. The reason why I give Golden Girls the edge is because it just puts me in a
well,
happy
Golden
place.
Girls is timeless, yeah. And like you've said, your favorite.
Thank you for being a friend.
Your favorite genre is comedy, so it's likely a lot of your answers are going to come from comedy.
Yes.
Mine's sci-fi, and I'm picking a fantasy show.
Bonus questions. I have 2 bonus questions. Favorite Game of Thrones character, go.
Tyrion Lannister.
I'm going to give a controversial answer. Sansa Stark.
Yeah, Sansa's good.
She started off as really annoying.
She had a lot of growth, yes.
And she had a lot of growth. And I like the way, I know Arya is the one that everybody favors because she's the one that's just kind of awesome the whole time. But Sansa's growth and the way Sansa ultimately ended up playing the game, love it.
We weren't making a podcast when Game of Thrones was on, so everybody just consider this your Game of Thrones supercut.
Yeah. And honestly, Cersei is a really good foil. And Lena plays that character to a T.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I wished so hard that my answer could have been, oh crap, what's his name? The other Lannister brother.
Jamie
Lannister. And I
his
believe
character
in the
growth.
books that
He
might be
does.
the case.
He actually has.
But on the show they trashed all of his development.
And then they tried to build it back after they ruined it.
And then they trashed it again at the end.
And they trashed it again. He does have character growth in the books. And a lot of book fans were very upset about that.
Dreadful.
All right, favorite Golden Girl?
Ma.
Sophia. Blanche.
Picture it. Sicily, 1922.
Blanche. Like little balls of sunshine in a bag. I'm so mad I could scream. Oh! All the Golden Girls are great, though.
If you haven't watched The Golden Girls, you should watch The Golden Girls. If
so
you think
perfect.
that a show from the mid to late 80s is not going to be relevant.
There are a couple 80s jokes, but it's so good.
If you think it's not going to be relevant to today, you are dead wrong.
They were progressive.
Yeah.
The Golden Girls were great. All right. Now, favorite TV show finale. It doesn't have to be necessarily what you think's the best TV show finale, because obviously Ted Lasso was great, Mesa was great. There's some recent ones, but what for you personally, what do you think is your favorite TV show finale?
Did I answer this for you off when we weren't recording?
I guessed what it was going to be, and yes, you did already answer it to me before we were like, let's record, as we're loopy and tired because it's almost midnight.
And do you remember what my answer was?
Your answer was the last episode of Star Trek The Next Generation.
Thank you. The last episode of Star Trek Next Generation.
Not the movies, but the episode.
Yes.
Mine is I feel like I have 2 answers.
You only get to pick one. That's
and then
the
can
rule.
I say what my
you
runner-up
made the rule.
was?
Sure, you can say it afterwards, but you only get to pick one.
All right, I'm just going to be, sorry, it's cliche. I like a good happy ending. Friends. It checked off all the boxes. I don't need a major dramatic event to happen in my
pointed
finale.
question. Do you think Ross and Rachel took a second break at some point?
No, but I do think they probably fought often.
Oh, for sure.
But I think they definitely were together.
All right, what was your runner-up that you just can't?
New Girl.
Yeah, I like
with
New
Frank
Girl.
Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra.
And then my favorite scene of the New Girl finale is when they're playing True American, and then it has that kind of flash forward transition scene with their kids joining in.
Yeah.
And obviously I hope they're playing with apple juice and the kids aren't drinking. But And it's so cute. And like Winston had like a bunch of kids. But the Frank Sinatra of it, because I caught that. I was like, because their whole plot of those last few episodes of New Girl is they have to move out of the loft. And I'm like, what if, because Winston either does way too small or he goes way too big. And it was just the fact that they kept up with that gag. But
Winnie the Bish.
I give Friends the edge just because it was very special to me. And it did check all the boxes for me in that thing. And like some people are like, oh, but it was just everybody was happy. Well, guess what? I like that. I like that everybody was happy. Do you have a second favorite finale of a TV show? There's one that you always reference to me.
Oh, yeah. Everybody Loves Raymond.
Because it just ended.
Because they did the same thing they do every other episode.
They had a little dramatic moment with Raymond and his health.
And then they were just sitting around the kitchen table.
Everything was good.
Yeah, complaining at each other as they always do.
But I think there's a lot of good finale. Like a finale, I think we've talked about this on several shows. Writing a finale can be really hard to check. And I think the middle was a good finale.
Yeah.
So things up.
It's interesting, too, because some shows...
A comedy is easier.
Yeah. Well, it depends, too. Like,
except for one that I will mention later.
I think that, like, the way TV has changed, too, makes it really difficult. Like, shows like Raymond and Seinfeld... where they don't necessarily, there wasn't an aim to them.
You would call Seinfeld a good
no,
finale?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't call it a good finale. But what I'm saying is, I think that's a mirror of two sitcoms that, like, they weren't like modern shows where there's this through line always happening, right?
Yeah.
You can go sit down and watch any episode of Seinfeld, and you can go sit down and watch any episode of Raymond and get it and know what's going on.
In a way, you can with Friends. They had through storylines with like
Friends is like that. Yes, Friends is like that as well.
Still a lot of standalone.
And it's like those I think can be easier or more difficult to end depending.
Yeah.
But if you've got a show that's got like this story that you're hitting every week and it's got a conclusion coming to it, I think what a lot of shows run into is they get to that conclusion. They do the conclusion, and then the network is like, hey, we make a lot of money off this show. You want to do another season?
Yeah.
And then they have to come up with all this stuff. That's called the Supernatural effect.
And Lucifer.
Supernatural had like probably a really...
Lucifer regressed its characters to keep going.
Supernatural had a really good, tight, 4 or 5 seasons?
Yeah.
That they got to the conclusion of that story they'd been building up, and then all of a sudden they were like, oh, we're going to make more of this. And we're like... one of our main characters is dead.
You could almost argue Supernatural, because they weren't sure if they were going to get picked up, that they actually had a few different things.
After that first
finales.
arc of like 4 or 5 seasons, it seemed like almost every season or 2 seasons, it was another series finale potential.
My biggest
for 10 years.
Yeah. My biggest criticism of finales are ones... See, like Friends was ended it with a bow. Same with New Girl. Nice bow. It was nice. I like that. I love Parks and Rec. I did not love that, like, like somebody was president. Was it Leslie or Ben? Probably. Like, I think that's a little too over the top. It was
almost fantasy at that point.
Too almost fantasy. It's not that I didn't like it. I wasn't so happy. It's just not my thing. And then if it's done correctly... throwbacks to your pilot can be a good thing. Like Ted Lasso had some of those throwbacks to the pilot, but if all you're doing is relying on nostalgia so much that you backpedal your characters to have that full circle moment, not a fan of that either. And I think sometimes dramas have a harder time with that.
Yes.
Are you moving your mic around?
I'm getting uncomfortable in this chair.
Oh, I see. It is late.
I need my beauty sleep.
So what is your least favorite TV show finale?
What time is it? Because my laptop and my phone have 2 different times on them.
It's 11:50.
Oh, that's because my phone's a screenshot.
Oh.
Don't keep screenshots on your phones, everybody. You won't know what time it is.
What time does your phone say?
10:35.
Okay. I'm looking at that clock right there. All right. Least favorite TV show finale.
I mean,
I know mine.
I know yours. Do you just
How
want to go
I
ahead?
Met Your Mother. Gosh, I will never let it go. That was horrible. It was a waste of time. And you know what? And I know we weren't supposed to give explanations, but we're already off the cuff. Everyone could be like, "Oh, but you don't like it because Ted and the mother didn't the twist, blah blah blah." No, you know why I didn't like it? Because they tried to act like, "Oh, we're so creative. We did something so different." No, you didn't. You had Ted and Robin, the the Ross and Rachel, if you will, ultimately end up together after all was said and done. You gave me the cookie cutter finale that you were not supposed to give me. That's what you gave me in the end, and it was crap. If it had gotten canceled after the first or second season, it might have worked. What Daniel's example earlier of shows that just kept it going because it brought in the money, we had that entire thing. Don't make Ted and Barney. Don't make Robin and Barney because I preferred them as a couple. That's right, I said it. Don't make them such a pivotal couple in that we have a whole thing of their wedding and Ted gives that great speech about love only to just pee all over it because you have to get freaking Ted and Robin together in the end. We are team Yellow Umbrella, not Blue French Horn. It just one of the things that struck me when I first started watching How I Met Your Mother was I was like, oh my gosh, Robin's not the mother. And I'm like, this is kind of cool. It's going to be different than any other comedy I've ever watched. It's not going to be that classic cookie cutter ending. And then it literally was. Basically, the show should have been called, Hey Kids, this is the show about how I wanted to bone your Aunt Robin. And I could keep going, but I won't. I'll save you guys that. What is your worst one?
Star Trek Enterprise.
Okay. Is that like a movie?
That's a show.
And why is it bad for you? That's why we're throwing it out there now.
They got canceled, so they cobbled together a series finale.
How many seasons did this show have? I've never
4.
even heard of it.
It was after Voyager. And
you literally think this is the worst. It gives you a visceral reaction like How I Met Your Mother.
Okay, so this was a prequel to the original show. So it was before Kirk and Spock. And it was a show that was leading us towards the founding of the Federation. The Federation didn't exist in this show. They were Earth. And then what they do is they cobble together what we think is going to be a flash forward to the founding of the Federation. Except what we find out is it's just Riker and Troy, yes, from The Next Generation, in a holodeck sim watching history, like they're watching the History Channel.
That's hilarious.
And it's awful. It's terrible.
It erased everything.
No, it didn't erase anything, we don't think. But what it was saying was a pivotal moment in Starfleet history that we thought we were going to see, and instead we're just watching Riker watching the History Channel.
At least it wasn't in the boy's mind. Is that what Twin Peaks did?
Yeah.
Or St. Elsewhere? No. What was it?
There's let's get me wrong.
What was it called? Was it Saint?
I don't know.
Something. You know what I'm talking about.
Let's not kid ourselves. There are a lot. This is a long list we could be picking.
It wasn't Twin Peaks. What was it?
I don't know.
Okay. But
guessing isn't going to get you
that
anywhere.
How I Met Your Mother's terrible?
It's terrible. It's awful. I would have probably went with that one, but I wanted to do something different.
Okay.
And pick something else. That was a terrible ending to the show. All the writers are terrible.
And I think they're the ones that are on the new Frasier. Yay! Okay.
Aha!
All right. Favorite Star Wars character?
Luke Skywalker.
Anakin Skywalker. Favorite Star Trek character?
James T. Kirk.
Worf. But I do like Picard. But I had to change my answer because after watching Picard season 3, I think Worf scared me when I was little.
I can see that.
But now, you think about all the characters that I like, and the men that I like, you included, grumpy, kind of rude. They all kind of
prominent forehead wrinkles.
They're all kind of in the same that's the conversation for my therapist.
Yeah, I think so. I would say so.
All right, go. More questions. Your turn. To ask.
I have a list.
You're the one that was like, "Can I ask some of the questions?"
What is your favorite Disney movie?
Aladdin.
Okay. The Rescuers Down Under.
Okay. What do you remember what is the plot of The Rescuers Down Under? You
All
always
right,
say
so
this.
there are 2 mice.
Yeah, you have not seen this movie
who
since
are
you were
called the
7.
Rescuers. They're a team.
What are their names?
They end up in Mickey and Minnie. They end up in Australia, down under.
Isn't one of them's named Bernard?
And they are tasked with fighting an evil snake to save someone. And there's an airplane involved, and there's an albatross involved.
What's an albatross?
A bird. And it's very good.
Bernard is one. Okay. Bernard is the name of the male mouse. What's the woman's mouse name? Bianca.
I should have remembered that. I think I did a good job.
Here is the actual storyline, according to the Internet Movie Database, IMDb. Since Miss Bianca and Bernard have successfully rescued Penny from Madame Medusa, the two have been making plans for their future. Bernard plans on asking Miss Bianca to marry him, but his plans on proposing to his girlfriend are soon delayed when the two receive a distress call from an 8-year-old boy named Cody, who has been protecting a rare golden eagle and her eggs from a murderous poacher named Percival C. McLeach, who was wanted by the Rangers for killing Marahuta's, I don't know how to say that, mate, and wants to know the location of the rare eagle. He kidnaps Cody in order to get to Marahuta's location from him. Miss Bianca and Bernard head to the Australian outback with Wilbur, the brother of Orville, to save Cody. Yeah, I always said that I liked the Rescuers Down Under better than the Rescuers as well.
Okay, so clearly the it's not an
Oh my
albatross.
gosh, did you know Bob Newhart is the voice of Bernard
No.
in the Rescuers?
It's clearly I mixed,
John Candy's in this. He's Wilbur.
It's a classic film.
It
That's
really
what I'm
is.
saying.
It
Everybody
really
remembers it,
is.
don't you?
It's one that I always claim that I like a lot. What did I use? Oh, Aladdin. Aladdin's perfect.
What's your favorite Disney character?
Donald Duck.
I guess I'm going to go with Goofy
I was gonna say it's cute.
because I wanted to say Donald, but
Donald is my. I thought you'd say Daisy. Okay, your top TV hot take.
I don't know how to answer this question, so give me yours. I know you got something loaded up.
Breaking Bad sucks. That's all I'm gonna say about it. A hot take is defined as something that most people are not going to agree with. Daniel.
So, say it louder. I just want to make sure everybody who loves Breaking Bad has it on the record.
Breaking Bad is not good.
Okay.
But I like Bryan Cranston a lot as an actor.
I still think I might get more heat for mine.
Okay, try me. I think I'm going to get a lot of heat for mine.
Pam and Jim are annoying. From The Office.
You stole that from me when I said that earlier.
I have always held that opinion.
Do you think they got them together too soon or too late? Like, I think it would have been if they had like Mulder Scully this situation and made them wait even longer, or Daphne Niles. I don't think I could have been able to stand it. Jim was pathetic. The way he was like, Pam was, even though Roy sucked. I like how this is your answer and I'm like agreeing with you.
It's the story of my life.
He like Jim was like a little bit of a villain in that. Like Pam was engaged.
Yes. I could have said Dwight and Angela are a better couple than Jim and Pam, but
they're more fun. All right, Daniel. So I'm going to ask you this, and then I guess I'll ask myself this. What is a show that deserved more? It got canceled too early for whatever reason.
Firefly.
That's the Joss Whedon
Yes.
show with Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion show. I mean, Josh Whedon is, scumbag now, but
yeah.
The show needed more. Yeah. It deserved better than what it got.
Why do I always have two answers to everything?
You only get to answer once.
I think we should have done this as like a one and a backup.
You made it up. You made the game up.
I guess so.
I'm here at your behest.
Timeless.
Oh,
you liked Timeless. But you know what my other one was?
It was fine.
It was better than fine. I won a t-shirt in that contest.
Congratulations.
My other was Freaks and Geeks.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, that
one season. But then that's the reason why I ultimately went with Timeless was because Freaks and Geeks is such a perfect season, even though I wanted more and they ended on a cliffhanger. And all those people have gone on to become very famous.
Yeah.
It's like it's preserved as like being perfect in my brain.
Yeah.
I could have like second runners up to like My So-Called Life only had one season. It's crazy. Claire Danes was in that, and Jared Leto. Like that's just like I think about a lot of shows that just had one season that I think could have done so much more.
Okay, I think the madness is almost at an end.
This was supposed to be like a 15-minute episode too.
It's not.
And we've managed to just
It's not.
say a lot of things.
So, if anybody who's been with us all this time remembers,
and thank you for sticking by.
Thank you very much. We have our very first episode was called "The Best Thing Going." Where we discuss what we believe is the best TV show going currently. And that means that it has at least one season out. And we know
for sure
it has a second, or at least one
so like
one
Ted Lasso
coming.
couldn't count because
Yes.
it's now over.
It's over.
And even though there's speculation, nothing is confirmed.
And so in January. I think our first episode technically came out in January
it was like the
of this year. Both of us agreed that what we thought was the best show going was The Boys.
Yes.
The Boys since then still has failed to deliver us a new season.
Part of that's probably due to the strike.
Yes, I think so. I think it's probably pretty close to being done, and it's just...
Even though it's failed, we haven't had a new season yet, I'm still counting it as mine.
I am as well. So
agree.
In this conversation here, let's put The Boys up for a second.
Ooh, now you're cutting me off guard. I already have my answer planned out.
Okay. The Boys is on the shelf. It's the best thing going.
Okay.
So with it up on the shelf, what is the best thing going? I have mine.
Yours is Strange New Worlds. Everybody knows.
Am I that transparent?
Yes. A lot of my backups are now over. Like Ted Lasso is over. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is over.
You can just come. You can come to Team Strange New World.
I think Strange New Worlds is great. Since you're not letting me go with The Boys, even though I gave it criticism, it rebounded very nicely. So I'm gonna have to go with Only Murders in the Building.
Ah.
Like, I was critical of those first couple episodes of season 3, but then it rebounded and was just, again, and that, I think part of that goes back to, I like mysteries, but I like comedy.
I think the setup that they've given for season 4 is better than the setup for season 3.
I agree.
I think that the mystery, the murder that has taken place, I think that is a better setup for a season. It has more stakes because it's somebody they really know, and somebody we know as the fans of the show, because she's been on every season of the show. We like that character, and so I think that's a better setup for season 4. And I agree with you. I'm excited about season 4, but I mean, come on, Strange New Worlds cliffhangered us like in the tradition of the old Star Treks and Next Generation, where we'll be back, and I'm chomping at the bit for that show to come back, and they haven't even started filming because the actors are still on strike, and they need to strike, and they should strike, and they're fighting the good fight. But I really want more Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
But I ultimately do want The Boys to come back.
Yeah,
The Boys strikes that balance between comedy and drama for me. Mm-hmm. That's fun.
Yes.
And I just think that, but I will say this. If they do what we're talking about and they stretch it out too long, I think The Boys does have a shelf life.
I agree.
I don't think you can continue to suck more seasons out of it.
I think, from what I understood, principal photography is done. They've been editing. If I had to guess what's going on right now is they've got some pickups they want to shoot.
Yeah.
They needed the writers and the actors to be back to be able to shoot those pickups. So half of that is back. As soon as the actors settle their deal, I'd say The Boys will be. I'd say I'm going to go out right now and say we will get The Boys first half of 24.
I hope
without question.
You know what's really crazy is that a lot of shows, when I'm sitting here thinking about that, so many good shows ended this year. Succession ended this year.
Did, yes.
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel ended this year. Ted Lasso ended this year. And I do really still like Stranger Things, but I mean, who knows when we're going to... I mean, these kids are going to be like in their 40s.
The kids are going to be in their 40s, and it's going to be 10 3-hour episodes.
I like the long episodes.
It was too long. All right, everybody. Well, that is that.
That was a lot. But we hope you liked it. Getting to know us a little bit.
I hope that you found some value in the words that we just spoke.
Argue with us.
Know what just happened, but it was a thing.
We want to hear your TV hot takes.
We do. We want to hear your hot takes. We want to hear your favorite characters. Pick any of the questions from this episode that you would like to fight us about.
Maybe I'll even pen them on an Instagram story.
Yeah, give them to us. We'll pin them on an Instagram story. We just want to have a conversation with you guys.
And we will be back.
We'll be back next week
with your regularly scheduled programming.
The OC rewatch, whatever other shows we're watching.
All those fun updates.
All that fun stuff. So thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening to this episode of We Watch TV, a podcast about the TV shows we watch. You can find more from Hope and Daniel on Instagram at We Watch TV Podcast. Drop us a line if you like the show, have a question, or a recommendation. You can find Hope on Twitter at Lil Runner and Daniel on Twitter at The Real Hobo Dan. Music for today's podcast was provided by Your Tunes from Pixabay. Artwork was created using the AI program Midjourney with prompts written by Daniel.